Welcome to the I Am Astrology Readings podcast, where we decode the cosmos and bring the stars down to earth. We're going to do it a little differently today than our normal routine. First of all, we haven't seen each other in a while, so welcome back, Dee. Thanks for having us, Paul. So today, I'm going to be your host, Walter, and we're going to be diving into one of the most powerful shifts of our time, which is basically Neptune's entrance into Aries. Now, that's going to be happening on March 30th. So I think about a week from today.
Yeah.
So this is definitely more than just a transit. It's actually the dawn of a new spiritual era. Because for the first time in about 150 years, Neptune, which is the planet of dreams, illusions, and divine inspiration, is stepping into the bold and fiery sign of Aries. Now, we all know what Aries likes, and it's essentially, action, selfhood, self-awareness, or lack thereof, and initiation. And so before we get started, I actually want to add something kind of personal here. So this podcast actually began around the halfway point of Neptune and Pisces. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Paul recorded the first episode back in December of 2019, and Neptune was sitting around 16 degrees Pisces. So now we're about 14, 15 degrees later, which is equivalent to about 6 years, and we're entering a brand new Neptune cycle. And so with that, the podcast is evolving right alongside it. Since then, Paul has actually written, I think, over 350 blogs. I know it's probably a lot more than that. And I know for sure he's recorded more than 50 podcast episodes. And that in itself is a huge body of spiritual and astrological insight. So before we dive into the symbolism and the energy of Neptune and Aries, how does that feel, Paul, to be riding the wave of Neptune's journey, both cosmically and creatively?
Well, first off, it must be Mercury retrograde if you starting off the show. Hello, D. How you doing, D?
I'm doing good. Feels great to be back. I'm so glad we're doing this again.
All right.
Here's almost. You said 2019, December 2019. We're here to stay.
Well, to answer your question, well, be honest with you, to really get into that, we would really have to get into the show, because some of the stuff that has to do with this wave of spiritual knowledge actually began when Neptune first entered Pisces.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been cool. It's been a journey, and the official number is 422 blogs.
422 blogs?
Yeah.
I knew it was over 300.
Some may call that a workaholic, but I'm not married to adjectives.
and that's not including the endless amount of content that you've created on TikTok, Instagram, and now YouTube, right?
Yeah, and well, Neptune's been passing through Pisces, and what is Pisces? Film, photography.
Production.
Yeah. Yeah. So, glad to see y'all. How you doing and all of that. And it's interesting that the wave stuff, because that was the idea or the thought that I had when I have other people from other platforms on. It's kind of like they have a wave, let's combine waves.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Let's get wavy together.
Yeah. Which, do you want to say something, D?
Oh, no, I don't have anything really prepared. Just
all right.
Be back and excited to get into things.
Because I did. It's interesting that you said something about waves and stuff because what was going on? When did Neptune go into Pisces? You remember?
Yeah, I have it right here. It was at 0 degrees on April 4th, 2011. That was the first time it went into it.
Oh.
And then yeah, and then it retrograded, and then it officially went into it on February 3rd, 2012. So we got a little preview April 2011, and then February 2012 it like officially went in.
All right.
Wow.
So
Hmm.
does anybody remember what was going on in the world in 2011?
Oh yeah. Well, do you guys? I don't know if you remember, D, but I know that you and I are kind of the same age. You remember like the Mayan calendar was gonna end or something like that in 2012?
Yeah, in 2012 it was supposed to end.
Yeah, and so everybody was kind of like making a big fuss about it
And it was
because
the same date too, wasn't it? Like December 12th in 2012?
yeah. I think it was December 12th, 2012, and it's funny because I was remembering that a few days ago. And I remember that a lot, like people I worked with, everybody was kind of making this big deal. Like, the like Instagram had just come out in 2010, so there was like a lot more like social media was kind of like becoming a thing, and people were creating like bunkers because they thought the world was gonna end or whatever. And I mean, imagine it's been a ride. It's been a spiritual ride since then.
Well, what? Why are we bringing up waves? Because what is Neptune?
Neptune is Poseidon. That's the king of the sea. And the emotions and the, it's not the underworld, but it's an underworld.
Correct.
I like that.
So Neptune, the king of the sea, Pisces, water. You only can think of waves because water makes waves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Cosmic waves.
We had a few things. We had in 2011, we had a wave of revolution.
Oh yeah, wasn't that the Wall Street?
Well, what? No. Well, that I got that one down there. A wave of debt. Occupy Wall Street was in
Occupy
2011.
Wall Street. That's what it was.
Oh, that's right. Occupy Wall Street.
Yes. A wave of debt, but the wave of revolution was the Egyptian revolution, Libya, and Syria.
In 2011?
Yeah, you remember when they ousted the Egyptian president Mubarak?
Oh, no, I think I had just started college in 2011. I don't think I was paying attention to the news.
All right. You remember them talking about the Arab Spring?
The Arab Spring?
Yeah. Arab Spring is a series of uprisings, protests, revolutions that swept across the Middle East and North Africa. The notable ones were the Egyptian Revolution, with President Hosni Mubarak was forced to resign after mass protests. Gaddafi, you remember Gaddafi? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I do remember Gaddafi. Well, wasn't that when Obama came into presidency?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. So yeah, I was 21, 22. It was those were my college years. I was too drunk to remember.
Well, that's a good point.
Someone was... remember, too young to care, like not quite like as politically bent, listening for. I do recognize the name Gaddafi though.
Mm. Yeah. Someone was killed that year.
Saddam Hussein?
No,
No, Osama wasn't Osama.
Osama bin Laden was killed.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. I forgot.
So
Okay.
could that have marked in the beginning of the end of a wave of terror?
Yeah, for sure. Osama was a Pisces too.
Yeah.
He's a Pisces.
Well, he was.
He was one.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Plot twist, he's still alive. It was all for show.
All right.
Kidding, I don't know. But maybe.
Speaking of waves, do y'all remember Fukushima?
Fukushima,
The volcano?
No, the
it was
nuclear
like a
plant.
nuclear
You remember the tsunami, the earthquake that triggered that massive tsunami that causing that Fukushima nuclear disaster, killing 15,000 people?
yes.
That
Damn,
was
I
in
don't
20.
remember that at all.
Yeah. One of the deadliest tornadoes.
I think it's still uninhabitable. Like it's still like highly, highly, highly radiated
Was that in Japan?
in Japan.
Yeah, March 11th in Japan.
Wow.
There was one of the United States' deadliest tornado in Joplin, Missouri,
Oh,
killing 158 people.
was that Katrina? That's not Katrina. is it?
No, it was a tornado. It was a tornado in Missouri.
But Katrina came after, right?
No, Katrina was
I
on
think
the
Katrina
05.
was still in high school.
Oh,
And
It
then,
was
just
in
kidding.
05. Technology wise, that was the end of NASA's space shuttle program.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pluto was reclassified.
Yeah. They did that a few times, I think.
Yeah.
They called it what? A dwarf planet?
they reclassified it as a dwarf planet. Is that when that happened, or were they
Yes.
reclassifying? Okay.
Yes. They declared Pluto a dwarf planet. I forgot the Occupy Wall. Yeah, I said the Occupy Wall.
Occupy Wall
with the wave of that.
Mhm.
We withdrew from the Iraq War.
On paper.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the end of the Iraq War, December 18th. Well, the U.S. formally withdrew its troops from the Iraq War.
Do you remember?
Nearly 9 years.
That's right. Do you also remember the Coney? Was it Coney? There was like some African thing. It was like a movement. It ended up being a scam. I'm gonna have to look that up.
You know what came out that year?
It was a film in 2012
Even
that came out. Joseph Kony.
Even though I never watched it, I hear people talk about it. The Game of Thrones.
That's right.
I've never watched.
I
never
watched
seen
it like way after the hype. Like after the hype had like already died down a lot. I was like, I'm gonna check
And
it.
I have that here. Yeah, I have that here as one of our points. But yeah, great films and great shows. Shows like because the Game of Thrones was an epic show.
Yeah,
And,
it was really good. I could definitely see the hype after I finally caved and watched it.
And one of the last points that I wanted to bring up about 2011, Steve Jobs died.
Oh,
Yeah. He ended up being an asshole.
I think Steve Jobs is a Pisces too.
Yeah, he was.
Was he? Okay, I'm pretty sure, but I don't know.
And you know, I mean, after that, I mean, Apple was already like on the rise, but you know, everything just intensified. And And I mean, we can go into, because you mentioned technology, Paul, we can go into like AI that has just been developed
Wait.
now in the late
Oh,
stages.
I
Okay,
forgot
go,
something.
go, go,
I
go.
forgot something since you said technology. 2011, even though it started in October of 2010, it really hit in 2011. Instagram.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So where has social media gone from in these last 14 years?
It's really taken off.
Yeah. No, it's affected an entire generation at this point.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm. And you think about it.
And it's also like the illusion of like, here's my
Mm-hmm.
real, here's, all the good things that are happening to me. Here's all, here's me and my family as perfect. Here's, my perfect wife,
Mm-hmm.
kids, my perfect this, my perfect that. So it's like the illusion of happiness and connection also.
Or the distortion.
Distortion, illusion, whatever you want to call it.
So about in 2011, social media was pictures and people talking.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as Neptune's leaving Pisces, it's short form video.
30 seconds, not even, man. It's like 10 seconds at this point.
Well, now it's getting longer again. Like TikTok's letting people do like 10-minute videos these days.
I know, but I scroll right through them because, my brain has adapted to the 10 seconds, so.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
Before we go any further, what is Neptune? What is Neptune? What's some key words for Neptune?
Well, we just had a few. Illusions, dreams, consciousness,
spirituality, emotions, going through the waves of life, like we were talking about.
The dissolver.
Yeah, it really blurs the lines.
Fear.
Confusion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fear.
Misfortune.
Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Fraudulent activity.
Drunkenness. Substance abuse.
Is Neptune the ocean?
Yeah, I
could be.
So.
All right. And think about how vast is an ocean?
Oh, we still haven't discovered every part of it yet.
Our oceans are less explored than outer space. We know more about outer space than we do about our oceans.
Mm-hmm.
Neptune, it says from the Isabel Hickey book, Neptune can show wisdom beyond reason, genius, creative ability, music, intuition, poetic, invisible realm. But it also can be vagueness, obscurity, illusions, confusion, misunderstanding, fraudulent appearances, fearfulness, introversion, sensuality, indulgence, and obsession. Now, when you think about Neptune, you asked me a question, Walter, about 2011, this wave.
How you feel?
Yeah, and so I started thinking about what is also Neptune is boundaries and or lack of boundaries. It doesn't,
Yeah.
boundaries dissolve. All right. And so, did you want to go back in history to the last time, before
You
I
wanna
get
you
into
wanna
this?
yeah, you wanna go into that?
We can't before because I was sitting back reflecting on what did Neptune do to me in the last 14 years to my Pisces Aries.
Yeah. So, and then this is just basically like to recap, the Neptune changes signs every 14 years, and if you think about it, 14 is the Saturn opposition cycle.
Yes.
So it's interesting that it happens like that every 14 years. Now, the last time, do you want to go into the last time Neptune was in Aries?
Sure.
All right, the last time Neptune was in Aries was 1861 to 1875. Now, those dates might not be significant to a lot of people, but to some people it will be, because that is technically when the American Revolution started.
From England?
No.
No, the American Revolution here, with slavery, like the Slavery Act, all of that.
So like
the Civil
rights.
War and all that.
Yeah,
The
Civil War, the 14th Amendment, which was, birthright citizenship. So my point in bringing this into today's conversation is that it seems right now that a lot of the things that are happening currently, like the current events and the news that you hear about every day, politically with the United States, socially, like globally, a lot of those things kind of were occurring also during that time period, except America was becoming like America.
Yeah, it was still in the process. It was figuring things out.
Exactly. So yeah, we can definitely go into that. And
all right. Well, you said it was 1861 to 1875. That was during that time, that was the American Civil War and Reconstruction era.
Yeah.
Now, you know what's interesting to me? The Civil War lasted from 1861 to 1865. And then the Reconstruction era started in 1865. Now, someone just went into office, and the thought came to my mind, what type of reconstruction are we going to have to do after these 4 years?
Well,
that's a good
14 years.
That's a great question.
Because
will there even be a reconstruction?
Yeah, because what was
because like
reconstruction?
Neptune is like breaking down like the boundaries and blurring the lines, and then we're gonna have to rebuild something. Yeah.
Well,
Reconstruction was the U.S. government works to rebuild the South and integrate freed Americans into society.
Well, it's gonna be about Mexicans this time.
Well, that's what I was thinking about, right? Will that, instead of Reconstruction era being slaves, will it be
immigrants?
Immigrants trying to come back, be part of the society again after someone taking a hostile approach to them. Pretty much like the stance of the Confederate Robert E. Lee and on.
Well, before we get into that really quickly, I want to say these are core themes for Neptune and Aries. It's the spiritual warrior archetype. Then you have new movements and activism, because Aries likes to be, an activist. Then you have blurred lines between action and illusion. Techno mysticism and an energy healing revolution. A potential boom in, like, let's say, for example, martial arts based healing, mind body techniques, since Aries rules the head and the brain, so things that have to do, like, with like the head. And an emergence of new heroes or archetypes, and more so with a focus on like strong individuals, like
Right.
strong individuals that kind of go into history and like do something like big,
Yeah.
and they're known for that.
Like Neptune is like the dream, and then Aries is the action. So it's going to be like people taking action toward their dreams and like being more assertive and confident, and I don't know, really taking the reins, and maybe even violent
Yeah.
and aggressive and forceful.
Foolish.
One of the celebrities I had that has Neptune in Aries was Benjamin Franklin, but I think that's like more. That's too early for the most recent time that the Neptune was in Aries. It's a little further back than that. The
Well-
last time that it was in Aries.
No, it's funny you say the last time, because Walter, I didn't stop at 1861 to 1865.
You kept going back.
I kept going back.
You went back a long time.
So, when was the last time before then? 1861. It was 1697 to 1711. And the time before that, it was 1533 to 1547.
I have here 1697 as Charles the Eighth, I think.
I think I came across that one too. Charles the something. Hold on.
The conclusion of major wars. Charles the Eighth, I think he was like English, British.
Yeah, one of those. I can't find
And then
it.
1533 was Henry the no, not Charles the Eighth. Sorry, Charles the 12th, I think. And then Henry the Eighth, which I think was probably like Spanish Empire, like Christian Reformation, Christianity.
Mhm.
The English Reformation.
Yeah.
Do
you know?
Oh, go ahead.
There is something that all these 14-year periods had in common.
What is it?
Power struggles, strong individual figures, expansion through conflict, cultural shifts, as well as advancing. Power struggles, strong individual figures, expansion through conflict, and cultural shifts.
Sounds like our president.
Right. I wonder where his Neptune is.
Well, it just sounds like what we're going through right now.
You know who was
anyway,
around? Ivan. What is that? Ivan the Fourth, Peter the Great.
Peter the Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're naming a bunch that I didn't come across. Can I name a few of my celebrities?
Yeah.
Gandhi has Neptune in Aries. Winston Churchill. Julius Caesar. Grigory Rasputin from the Moscow. He was like the Russian magician or consultant to the king. Benjamin Franklin. I'm just naming the few that stuck out to me. Henry Ford.
These people have what?
They all have Neptune in Aries. So like just to give people like an idea of like the times of like things that were happening based on like these people who were famous.
Gandhi really stands out to me on that one.
Right? He stands out to me too. Like it wasn't like because he is like the spiritual, but I wouldn't put him as like Neptune and Aries
Oh, and
particular.
he was supposed to be for like peace, right? Like he
He's
was kind
yeah,
of like a non-violent resistance was
yeah,
Gandhi.
that was his thing. But like I guess those are kind of Aries themes. Like violence is a theme, but like he went through the other side of like non-violence and controlling your anger and physical aggression.
Yes. By the way, Abraham Lincoln was that figure during that time.
Strong figure, you mean?
Yeah,
Well, he freed the slaves, supposedly.
yeah. But conflicts, power struggles, influence of powerful individuals, religious and political upheaval. And this is one I wanted to touch on. Global interconnectedness. And we did bring up social media, and we talked about Pisces and Neptune and stuff and boundaries, right? You know, one thing that social media has done?
Connected the globe.
Erased borders.
Yeah. We're all in a meeting right now. Like what
In
borders?
different places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's technology.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where will we be on those issues in these next 14 years coming up?
Yeah.
I also went back in time. Right. And I wanted to know what years did like Neptune is going into Aries this year. I went back to see how many, what years Neptune went into Aries in history. So we got 1861, 1697, 1533, 1370, 1206, 1042, 838, and 715.
So what is that, like every 150 years or so?
164.
164?
Yeah, I think it's 164. Yeah. And so and in all of those periods, they had a strong role figure. Like Genghis Khan was 1206, Genghis Khan was around.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And pillaging, already starting on his crusade.
Yeah.
Violence and raping and pillaging and
spreading his seed across the globe.
Yeah, there's like some crazy high percentage of the globe that's related to Genghis Khan.
Yeah. Henry VIII was around during 1533. Religious and cultural shifts. 715 was the spread of Christianity. 1533, English Reformation.
Man, if only we could go back to 715 and unspread that Christianity.
Well, right. So, as we can see, basically what I'm setting up and showing y'all is that, this, what we seeing currently in the news is nothing new under the sun.
No, it's not. It's just it's different. It's a different representation, if you will.
Yeah. Because
Um,
the other
it
planets are going to be in different spots. Like just because Neptune is in, entering Aries again, you still have the other planets to color that particular Neptune in Aries cycle.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Even though technically Uranus is changing signs too. Like,
Yeah.
soon.
Well, well, if you really want to be technical, there's a lot of shift because Pluto also
It'll also,
technically just changed signs and went into Aries, and all of these are, what do they call those, generational planets?
Pluto went
Yeah,
into,
we're about yeah.
or Pluto went into Aquarius, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but what he's basically saying is like these three generational planets that kind of give the flavor to humanity.
Yeah.
They're all like moving along, and that's just gonna give rise to like a whole new breed of human, in
Yeah.
a way.
Okay.
Yeah, good. You know how they say indigo babies and what are they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, can we say a whole new type of soul is about to start being born on this earth?
So is it going to be
A technological soul?
Well, I mean, with all these generational
ultraviolet?
planets shifting,
I mean, I would be really curious to see like what comes out of this, because it is so interesting. You're gonna have like babies being born under Pluto and Aquarius, Neptune and Aries, Uranus and Gemini. Like what kind of personalities are gonna be like? To me, it seems like these are gonna be like people that are gonna come in with like novelty, like something that right now we can't even fathom what they're gonna come in with. That's how new it'll be.
yeah. So I want to go back to the first thing you asked me, and let's make this personal.
Let's circle back.
Yeah.
And make it personal. So for the last 14 years, Neptune has been traveling through Pisces, and we're saying erasing lines and boundaries and stuff like that. You brought up spirituality. Where was Paul in 2010? Paul was just, that's when around the time I stopped going to church. Right? And actually when Neptune went into Pisces, I have Neptune at 0 degrees Sagittarius. So I was actually at my Neptune square, right? Which is, square is of Mars energy, and Mars likes to cut and sever. And so I was, if I think about it, slowly, why did I stop going to church? Because I was feeling disillusioned. I was feeling lied to. I didn't feel like I was listening to truth. Right? And this journey into, you talk about fear, this journey into astrology and all that, I had to push past fear because I was told all of this was a sin and all of that. So
Yeah.
I look at where I was when it comes to 2011 spiritually. I was still, just leaving a system of thought which would have been Catholic religion. And I was setting out to figure out, which is a square, setting out to figure out what was my truth. And today, as we record this, Neptune's at 29 degrees, which is in opposition to my Virgo sun at 29 degrees.
Is that why you were late to the show?
Yeah. So here it is, in 2011, I was looking for answers. And at the end of this journey, people are looking for me to provide them with answers.
Ooh. Very on brand for somebody born with Pisces in the 10th, huh? And Neptune going through your 10th. You've become you left. So basically what I'm hearing, and maybe maybe Dia agrees with this, is in 2010, 2011, you were disillusioned by the church, the Christian church, right? Christianity.
Yeah. Catholic.
Catholic. You decided to kind of step away from that. In stepping away from that, you really stepped away from probably like, your family values or traditions, or like just family overall.
Beliefs. Beliefs. I had to step away. Beliefs. The Pisces thing. I was stepping away.
Right. But you discover astrology, which is a very, in a way, Neptunian sort of art, because it does kind of go hand in hand. It is a science, but it's also kind of like psychic.
The mystic arts.
The other day somebody came into my live stream and asked me, do you believe in astrology? And I said no.
Yeah.
I know astrology. I don't believe in anything.
Yeah, it's like it's pretty factual if you think about it. Like, it's just, if you look at it from just a time, like we're looking at, like during this time these things happened. It's just the clock. It's just the clock ticking. It's the solar, well, I guess not solar, but the astrological clock, the planet, the solar system clock. Like when this planet moves through this location in outer space, things happen correlating with that planet.
And you got to pay attention.
It's a pseudoscience.
You got to take a big picture approach look. To be able to see the cycle. Now, just like I just said, and what is 10th house? 10th house could be seen as my public identity.
Mm-hmm.
And all I do is walk around in these I Am Astrology reading t-shirts now.
And the public
Bible
comes
Belt.
to ask you. And you have interactions with the public who ask you about, hey, like, what does this mean? What does that mean? And, correct me if I'm wrong, but now you have some family members that approach you to ask you about what's going on, in the stars.
Yeah, it is cool that, my kids read my blog, and check up on the astrological energy. But just like me, I had a 14-year journey through my Neptune had a 14-year journey through my 10th house. Neptune had a 14-year journey through both of you ladies' 12th house.
Yeah.
And 12th house has to do with sorrows. It has to do with confined spaces. It has to do with mental health. It has to do with, transcendence.
Isolation.
And so
secrets. self-undoing,
Yeah. So I ask you,
reconstructing. Yeah.
can you, and actually, Walter, I know we talked about this earlier. Neptune traveled over your sun and your Mercury.
Mm-hmm.
It was dissolving barriers and boundaries and stuff. Your sun is in Pisces, right?
Yes.
That's the only thing you have in Pisces.
That's the only thing I have. Thank God.
So Neptune passed over your sun, and your sun rules your 5th house of kids, hobbies, creativity, lovers, and stuff like that. Speculation, gambling.
Mm-hmm.
Can you two see how Neptune has been working on y'all for them 14 years in that area?
Yeah, for sure. I have 2 kids who have Neptune in Pisces now, as a result of me going through this transit.
All right. I see what you're saying.
Because you said like kids and creativity, like I created 2 kids during this time.
All right. So where were you mentally, and all that, 2011, and where are you now?
So I went through a lot of like kind of what you talked about. Like I didn't quit going to church like all at once. It was just kind of a slow progression away from there and toward astrology. Just the more that I don't know, like I would always read like the stupid little horoscopes in the paper, and it's like they're too general and they're too vague, but they're right. And that led me through like the rabbit hole and like learning more about like where the other planets are and your personalized horoscope, and changing my belief system and not putting so much into like a Christian church. And I don't know, just finding my own path, my own belief system, a lot of self-undoing, a lot of isolation, a lot of like learning who I am.
Where were you at with sorrows, and where are you at with it now?
So because like I stepped away from the church, like Walter said, like you're also kind of stepping away from family and traditions, and a lot of that was realizing how toxic my family of origin was, and said like and then like having kids and wanting to be a good parent to them, and having to really think about like all the things that my parents said to me, like you'll understand when you're a parent, and then like I don't understand I still don't get it, how you could raise us this way. Like all I want is to protect and shelter and keep these kids safe and be with them all the time. And
I got a question for you. How you talking about the shop and all of that? And how it frustrates you? Can you see how?
I can't talk about that place right now.
No, but what I'm saying is, can you see how someone could bring work home and be frustrated and
definitely, and then like also
take it out on the kids?
Sure, yeah.
Not everybody has the same approach to kids as we like.
Yeah, and like everyone's different for sure. The shop, I can't talk about that place, right?
Well, no. I'm not asking you to talk about.
We
the shop.
went into it all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and like dreams, and we're gonna make it work. And now we're having the harsh realization of like it's so fucking hard. Like,
welcome to entrepreneurship.
No one can prepare you for how hard it's going to be. Like everyone tells you it's going to be hard to own your own business. And you're like, yeah, I know, but you don't know.
Well, we just had this aspect of Venus and with with the sun and the north node, and I talked about shattered dreams.
Yeah.
And fifth house is speculation, and so could some of what this stress of owning the business kind of shatter the dream of what you thought what business could be?
Oh yeah. And like, don't get me wrong, we have like done a lot. We have grown it and like learned a lot and had every experience fucking possible. But yeah, it's hard. It's like, it's shattering the dream. It's like coming to harsh realizations. You could also, like, the shop is another one of my kids. It needs a lot of attention. It needs nurturing. It needs help growing. It needs like all of these things that, yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna just stop there.
Okay. Hey, I didn't even know they had that, Walter.
So I'm doing it so you guys can see. So I wonder, D, is it kind of like the grass wasn't greener on the other side?
I thought, well, I don't know. The grass isn't green where we are. I can definitely see the grass is not green. I don't know if it was ever green, but like I definitely had the disillusion of, I don't know, like we wanted to be our own boss, and it's just it's not
being your own boss what it's all cracked up to be.
It's not. Don't do it.
I went through that. I went through that too. Well, we both. Well, yeah, of course, we're both Aries rising, so we both went through it.
Oh, well, which is interesting. Yeah, you did. So how do y'all feel about being your own boss now? How do you feel, Walter, about being your own boss?
Well, you know, I share the same sentiment that D does. Personally, I think I wanted to be a boss at a very young age, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I have a North Node in Capricorn. I didn't have the skills developed yet. I think I have a lot more skills to develop before I can actually bring that dream to full fruition in a way where it makes me feel, you know, satisfied and I guess successful in a way.
Yeah. Manifesting dreams.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
I like that. How about mental health for you two ladies? Well,
I hear that's nice to have.
I mean, just, you know, can you see how Neptune was trying to dissolve barriers and boundaries there? I don't know. I'm just asking. I don't
well,
know.
for me, for sure, because it did touch my Mercury, and I mean, it destroyed me at one point, I think. You know, I think I had like these like rose-colored glasses that were on really tight. We had a conversation about this earlier, and I'll tell you basically what I told Paul because he kept insisting. And finally, I realized that, you know, Neptune's transit through my 12 really was a dissolving of my ego. You know, everything that I had, like, you know, like every little curiosity that entered my mind, I thought I would be the best at, or I wanted to be the best at. But in reality, you know, it didn't quite get there, if that makes any sense. I didn't quite go all the way, because the moment that, you know, I was gonna get there, either something was shattered, or there was like like I saw like the illusion for what it was, or, you know, I just wasn't interested anymore, or it was just something that kind of like faded away. So for me personally, it felt like I had like an ego death over and over and over again, you know, in multiple phases. First, you know, I wanted to be a business owner, so then I tried that. I wasn't good at it.
Was this
And I pushed myself.
was this a 14-year journey of learning how to let stuff go?
I think so.
Yeah, that's putting
I
it.
think so.
Wait,
Yeah.
letting stuff go that you may have been distorted
Like, I
over?
really wanted this, but it's like, do I really want? Is it worth the stress? Is it worth the headache? Is it worth this?
Exactly.
It's made me realize, like, I really would rather do readings and the podcast with you guys and have like a freaking cheap hobby instead of this expensive ass fucking hobby that doesn't pay its own bills right now.
Or just go to a regular job, and when you check out, punch out, you ain't got to think about that place no more until you go back to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, it's not.
Hey, I did it.
Yeah.
You did what?
I went back to a regular job.
What
And I fought hard against that, because I told everybody, oh, I'm gonna get out of the 9 to 5,
Oh yeah,
I
and
think it was
then
back in like 2018.
Getting out of the 9 to 5 and being your own boss means getting into the 5 a.m. until midnight job.
It's not for everybody.
So
You're wearing all of the hats. You have to play all of the parts or hire someone to play those parts, which means you have to have money in order to pay them. And it's just, I don't know. It's so much.
you think, is it kind of equivalent to buying yourself a job, but you're never off?
Yeah, you're never off. I have nightmares about that place. Like, I can't even sleep to rest from it.
Well, then I will tell you this, D. I think you probably got further than I did, and I think if you're having nightmares, you're on the right track.
Sure, maybe.
Well,
now hold on one second. It may not.
We have like a lease, so that keeps us like, we took over the previous owner's lease. We had to sign up for a new lease like shortly thereafter, and we're coming toward the end of that lease. So like, brick and mortar, like, you're in it, you can't give up, at least not until your lease is out,
well, it's interesting that you just said that, because, well, as an Aries rising, Neptune's going into your first house.
True.
And so when it comes to your body, your appearance, yourself, what do you think Neptune is here to work on for y'all for the next 14 years?
Getting swole.
Would it be?
Maybe it's rebuilding our poor egos that have been shattered.
Probably.
Because it's Aries, so that's like, we gotta build up our ego, maybe rebuild some new disillusions to distract ourselves from the past.
Well, let's think about it. I went over the periods when Neptune was in Aries and traveled those 14 years. And what do they have in common? Power struggles, strong individuals, expansion through conflict, cultural shifts, and advancing. So how do you think for Aries rising that's going to show up for y'all? Aries is the warrior, right? And you did bring up confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all believe, because Neptune is connected to beliefs, that you can be a warrior, Aries rising? Do you have warrior in you? Can you be that strong individual? Can you fight through conflict?
Yeah, you don't really have a choice though.
How do you deal?
I don't
Wait,
feel like you do.
How do you deal with cultural shifts?
I guess just roll with the punches, right? It used to
Well,
be
Anxiety
yeah.
keeps on trying me.
Anxiety.
No,
Well, actually, Walter, now I'm glad you said that, because you don't think that the last 14 years was about you being learning how to deal with anxiety?
Oh, 100%.
That would be a 12th house thing.
Mm-hmm. When it was moving through Pisces, you got to roll with the waves, but now that it's moving into Aries, you got to roll with the punches.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah, so barriers, boundaries. Hey, actual, okay, now that y'all Aries risings, now that y'all dealt with self-undoing and all of that stuff, is it time to finally lean into being that warrior?
Yeah, I could see that.
All right.
I feel like a lot of the Neptune through Pisces was me saying like, I can't do this. I don't know how to do this. And then having to do it. And then, so once it moves into Aries, like maybe like I'm starting to settle into the realization, like I can do it. I have done it. I'm going to fucking do it. I'm going to get shit done.
You're 100% that beat.
Like maybe you're more confident in your skills now, whereas before you weren't. Like before you're more wishy-washy and unsure of yourself, and you don't have your footing. And then by the time it rolls into Aries, like your beliefs are like more concrete. You have a better idea of how to handle things, how to grab life by the horns, I guess, since it's a ram.
I'm glad you said sure footing, because tarot wise, do you know what card is Neptune?
I don't.
The Hangman.
Ooh.
I thought it was isn't that the Fool? No.
Isn't Jupiter the Fool? I always associate like Sag.
No, Uranus.
No,
isn't Uranus
isn't Aries the Fool? Oh.
Uranus is the Fool.
And what card is Aries?
The Emperor.
That makes sense.
And Neptune is the Hangman.
That makes sense. Because like everything's up in the air, like you don't know, like nothing's for sure. Like, oh, I just thought of another thing that like me and Cody together have been dealing with. That I don't know if he wants me to say this on air, but like a lot of things have been up in the air for him.
Well,
I say that. Like,
isn't he a Libra rising?
He's Libra rising, yeah.
Yeah. So this Neptune has been going through his 6th house of daily routine and health, and actually subordinates, people who work under me. Slaves. It's the house of slaves.
What if he is the subordinate?
Well, hey.
Well, that would be an interesting
he's at 29. Well,
dynamic.
Neptune's at 29 degrees. He's about to turn into Nat Turner and have a slave revolt.
That's right.
A revolution.
There you go, babe. Shout out to Cody. There's your forecast.
Taurus rising. So Taurus rising, they about to do the 14 years that y'all just finished of Neptune traveling through their 12th house of confined spaces. It's mysticism. It's also your connection to the universe, as well as self-undoing. And so, what would you say this 14 years of Neptune going through their 12th house for Taurus rising? Any words?
Hold on tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite.
Yeah.
Don't do drugs.
Yeah, you're gonna want to do drugs.
Don't die.
I have a question for y'all.
Sorry, we are so unserious right now.
I have a question for y'all. Should Taurus risings look into therapy?
Everyone should look into therapy.
No, but wait, I hear you. But
Agreed.
I'm just.
Taurus rising should look into therapy the most, and Taurus suns.
Well, the reason I'm saying that is because let me ask you this. Because Neptune just went through y'all 12th house. And so
Therapy was definitely a big part of my life for the first half, at least, or more, of the 14 years that Neptune was in Pisces and in my 12th house. So yeah, I think.
Oh no, mine came like the last half of Neptune in Pisces for therapy. Yeah, the second half.
All right.
So together,
now I got a question for y'all. Now that both of y'all, I didn't know both of y'all went to therapy. Do y'all think y'all would have made it through this 14-year transit without going to therapy?
Oh no,
I'm still in therapy.
Yeah, I didn't like quit therapy. I just kind of like haven't gone in a few years. Like, I don't know, I'd never meant to quit going, but I just felt like I was in a better place. And that's what it's for, right? Like, to help you feel like you can tackle life on your own again.
Well, wait. You just hit on it. So could this journey through the last 14 years was about y'all getting to a better place?
Yeah.
In life, as far as when you wake up in the morning, where you mentally.
Yeah, and I feel like therapy is you're not isolated, like you're isolated with one person though, and you're like discussing your belief systems and you're untangling the web in your mind to like kind of smooth things out and like figure out how to move forward, or figure out who you are, or figure out where you want to be or where you want to go. I guess it's different for everyone, of course, but like it's a very Pisces theme to face your emotions and put it all out there on the table with a safe person.
Ooh. So is Taurus risings, are they gonna be hit with facing emotions and shadows?
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe
that's one, because it's in Aries, because like, I don't know, there might be some violent realizations there. Go ahead.
Well, I actually wanted to circle back to that, Paul, and kind of talk about a little bit about the shadow side. I have here some of the shadow side of Neptune and Aries is escapist anger. So this could lead to false crusades or delusional conflict. I have spiritual ego, which is the I'm more awakened than you energy. Impatience with boundaries, which is so on brand for Aries, because Aries can be really impatient. And misdirection of collective energy. Charismatic movements could rise without substance.
Oh yeah, they're so impulsive.
So so some Taurus risings, maybe they don't need therapy. Maybe they have done the work and now it's time for them to be the therapist.
Yeah.
I will say Placidus-wise, my Saturn's in the 12th house, and my journey into learning astrology and my chart was actually therapeutic for me as well. So studying your own chart and all that was therapy for me. Moving on to my sign, Gemini rising, which is the 11th house, which is friends and groups and connections, right? And so boundaries, do you have proper boundaries with your friends and groups and connections. And I'm pretty sure by the end of this 14-year journey of Neptune through Pisces, through Aries, I'm not sure you're going to be connected with the same groups and people and friends.
Yeah, there might be.
You could.
Go ahead.
You could. I mean, I think you could, but maybe the dynamic changes.
The first thing that came to my mind was like friends with benefits. Because of the sexual Aries energy and Neptune blurring the lines between your friends and social connections.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, hello, Gemini risings.
So, D, are you saying I'm about to start a hippie commune?
Maybe.
It's possible.
Possibility.
He already has one. Hint, hint.
Free love.
Yeah. So, when it comes to Gemini risings, 11th house is also dreams and wishes.
Maybe like taking action over your dreams and wishes and like putting those like into, I don't know, making more of a drive.
Trying to making dreams come true. Hey, you have this dream, you've been dreaming about it.
Putting
now
some
it's
action
time to put action into it.
Yeah, putting some action behind. Like they're not just dreams anymore, like we're putting action behind it now.
Yeah.
What about creating powerful allies that you think are powerful, but actually end up not being powerful at all?
Ooh, or powerful enough to destroy you, and it's like not a good thing.
Or
Maybe.
don't go. I also could see as, hey, when you you're connected to a group and you ride. This is a 14-year journey of you rising to be
to the top of that group.
To the top of that group.
The leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be something like that. Cancer rising. This is gonna put you have Aries in your 10th house of career, reputation, how you're seen in the outer world. People, and by the way, I use whole signs. So, and in whole sign, the MC doesn't always fall in the 10th. Sometimes it could be in the 11th and the 9th. And so, with that being said, how you seen in the outer world might not be how you actually make your money. Oh, I should have added that. So, for instance, people know me as the astrology man. But that's my reputation, because the 10th house is reputation. But astrology doesn't keep these lights on.
Right.
So what I'm known for is not actually what I actually do. And that is the difference between your 10th house and your MC. And so with Cancer rising, you know how somebody is like, they identify with their title.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Their title is them.
Mm-hmm.
Either for Cancer rising, I could see them either stepping into the title, or, hey, is this title really me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Who are you outside of your title? I was gonna say like uncertainty on your like career path, like something's gonna happen to blur those lines.
Or maybe wanting to try something new that you've never tried before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or for Cancer rising, that could be rising to put your Neptune energy, your spirituality out in the forefront.
That should be interesting for Cancer risings, because it's such a feminine sign, and Neptune in Aries is such a masculine energy.
And they're gonna have that square. They're rising at least for some of that.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and you think about that. Now that you said that, Walter, Cancer rising is ruled by the moon, which is very emotional and temperamental. And so it's gonna. How does some energy who is emotional and temperamental go out in the world and be the warrior and put everything front and center?
Exactly. That's a big question.
All right. For Leo rising, this is going to fall in the 9th house of higher learning, belief, philosophy in life, foreign lands, publishing, justice,
religion.
Yeah.
Did you say that?
Yeah. So
yeah, some of this might have some overlap with the 12th house because like 12th is like more spiritual, whereas 9th is more like organized religion. So you might have like a blurring of the lines and like what is your belief system? What is your philosophy? Maybe traveling to foreign lands to figure that all out too.
Yeah. I could see Leo risings wrestling with beliefs and connections to traditional beliefs, like the Catholic, the Muslim, the big institutionalized stuff. Also, education.
Gender roles.
Education. Oh, yeah. Gender roles.
Education or educating.
Are your beliefs on sure footing? Leo rising, are you a conspiracy theorist?
Because you're about to be.
How many Leo risings are flat earthers?
Oh,
yeah.
God. Oh, God.
Right? So
not the F word.
Yeah, boundaries. Hey, it could be even your connection to foreigners. You could be someone, Leo rising, are you someone who only stay with your kind and now it's time for you to break away from the pack and go see what's out there?
It's interesting you say that.
Why is that?
I don't know. Something just came to mind.
A penny for your thoughts.
You know what? I'm gonna keep that penny.
Walter, this one's interesting. Virgo rising. It's in the 8th house. It falls in your 8th house of shared assets, deep bonded relationships, death, your attitude toward death, your attitude toward sex, how do you look at taboo?
I don't think we've said anything about confusion yet with Neptune.
Well, we did. So
I mean, we said like disillusion and fantasy and but I feel like confusion holds a different weight, and I don't know why it just came to me now with like Neptune in the 8th, and I don't know, I just thought of like confusion about like death and taxes and stuff.
Well, Walter, earlier today, you had a conversation with a Virgo rising, and the conversation came up about deep bonded their approach in deep bonded relationships that could have taken a hypocritical stance inside a deep bonded relationship. And so when it comes to Virgo rising, what do you think this visit of Neptune through their 8th house could be about?
Well, if we go based off of the conversation that I had, let's see. This person is probably gonna listen to this.
How much can I say without giving it away?
I know, right? I think and I'm gonna circle back to what Dee said. You know, the eighth house is a really like deep, dark house in a way. You know, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad, you know, because it's deep or dark. It's just it's a lot. It's intense energy, because it is the topic of death, because it is the topic of intimate bonds. So a lot of things there are felt very intensely. So I think like Neptune going into here can definitely confuse someone. And now that we're there with that word, I'm reminded of what you said to this person, that and I'm reminded that they are literally going through a Neptune through the seventh transit. And I'm reminded that they don't know how confusing they may seem to other people. So that was like basically what the conversation was kind of about earlier today. So I imagine that, you know, this transit through the eighth for Virgo risings might be a little bit intense. I wonder if, you know, if it might like blur some lines when it comes to like intimate relationships, maybe certain relationships that they should not get into or that they should get into, and maybe they're not sure because, you know, Neptune does cause a lot of disillusionment and a lot of distortion. Then also on the other hand, like this is also shared resources. Like, do you have, you know, joint resources with someone, money, businesses, you know, like what's happening? Is somebody, could somebody be stealing your money? Could somebody be, you know, acting like a like a very masculine, you know, warrior, Aries Martian type of person with your resources, and you don't know?
Yeah, all right, but then you could take the other side and be like, all right, this person never did allow themselves to deeply bond with somebody, and now that Neptune is there, it's dissolving that barrier that they had, and they may start allowing someone in.
Well, you know, to get to kind of like hone in on on the point I was trying to make earlier today, hopefully, you know, for the Virgo risings, hopefully, you know, they're not met with a taste of their own medicine when it comes to, you know, who they have this deep bonded relationship with. Because imagine, you know, you're going through life and you meet someone, or you fall in love with someone, and it just turns out to be someone that doesn't play by your rules.
That one just hit home.
Oh no.
Well, I know another Virgo rising, so that's why. Right. Moving on. Libra rising. Right. So Libra rising, you're about to have a Neptune journey through your seventh house of relationships. Right. So when it comes to relationships and business contracts, barriers and boundaries that you have that's preventing you from reaching your dreams in a way. What has to dissolve? What do you need to be more warrior like going out there to create the wave of success?
You know what has to dissolve for Libra risings?
What's that?
Their indecision.
Seriously.
Now that you're saying that, what about for Libra rising? What may need to dissolve is your belief on fairness.
Ooh,
justice?
They always want to make things fair for them. Like they come in under the guise of like, let's make everything fair for everyone, but they always like tilt it in like their own favor.
Well, I have a question for you now, D. About the belief of fairness. Is the world fair?
It depends on whose eyes you're looking through, right? Like the creator would look at it and be like, yeah, I made everything fair. But no, life isn't fair, because that's how we learn our lessons here on Earth, right?
So is someone who with Libra energy, Libra sun, Libra rising? I know a bunch of that like to stay on the fence. Could they be living in fairy tale land when they try to harp on fairness?
Yeah. I guess they have that in common with Pisces. Like Pisces lives in a dream world fantasy, and Libra also is like, it's kind of a dream world fantasy where everyone gets along and is treated equally and everything's fair all the time. And nothing is ever fair, really.
Oh, well, you just reminded me of something now for Aries rising with, and what you just said that with Pisces. Is it time to stop self-sacrificing and being the warrior and think for the self and be the warrior?
Hell yeah, I'm all for that.
You know, self-sacrificing in a way.
Mm-hmm.
That was what the last 14 years were about.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a lot of what Neptune does too. It's the ability to sacrifice. And you sent us this thing that I was reading earlier. And if I may, I'm gonna just read this line out loud because it really stood out to me. It said, Neptune works by persuasion, never pressure. It is called the cosmic Santa Claus. There is a secret hidden in sacrifice. The more you give yourself away, the more you have to give. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all else shall be added unto you. Is as true today as it was 2,000 years ago. The cosmic laws never change. That really stood out to me because of sacrifice.
And the last 14 years, or even longer than that, how much did I sacrifice and putting energy into someone else's company? I self-sacrifice my stuff, my creative energy, putting it into that stuff for 14 years and all that. But I'm not bitter about it.
Well, you certainly acquired skills from that, so
yeah, well, which would go to what you just said as far as being Santa Claus, bringing skills and gifts.
I think
through that sacrifice.
I think that Libra rising, if they're looking to get married soon, it's not gonna happen.
Okay.
All right.
Just like the wedding date is gonna keep getting pushed out and out and out and out.
But somebody that is in a relationship, a long-term relationship,
already married.
Yeah, already. This could be the delusion, disinvolvement, or I'm trying to say, disenvironment of the relationship. Hey, I thought this relationship was this, but it's not. It's not what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
And coming to terms,
like maybe secrets coming out.
Yeah.
I would also add, especially for this one, and also for the 8th house, I would raise a concern, not to freak anybody out, but I would raise a concern of like domestic violence type of abuse.
As far as powerful individual and all that.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah. As far as Neptune and Aries, like, maybe like interacting with people that are coming across individuals that can be a little bit like too strong and could abuse their power.
Now that you're saying that, like a Libra rising female, thinking that she's attracted to the machismo.
Mm-hmm.
And have to figure out the reality of dealing with somebody with that machismo attitude.
Yeah. Because Neptune it can be sneaky, it can manipulate, and in Aries, it can be violent.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's what I'm worried about, the violence.
All right. Scorpio rising. Neptune's going to be traveling through your 6th house of daily routine, health.
Ooh, confusion and uncertainty about your health and your routine and maybe your job.
Yeah.
Changing career path or changing your job. I guess it's not really much career if it's a 6th house, but like maybe changing career, but just changing jobs.
Yeah. For some Scorpio risings, like I said, it's the house of slaves. So what if you are working under somebody who is treating you like a slave?
Maybe
now it's time to stand up and be the warrior throughout your day.
Stand up for what you believe in at work.
Yeah. Some Scorpio risings need to learn how to walk in that warrior spirit.
Maybe join a union
throughout the day. No, as far as like, not go through their day fearful, scared of the world. Because Neptune is fear. What fears that you deal with that's holding you back on a daily basis and through your routines and stuff like that? Hey, can fear create a health problem?
Yeah, it absolutely can. I got a question for you though. Is Neptune a malefic planet?
I think it's neither.
Because
it's not under the traditional rulership.
So it doesn't. Well,
it depends. Yes. Well, yes, it could be if you lean into the shadow of Neptune.
Yeah, but technically, if you want to get technical, it's not under like the traditional.
The Saturn and Mars are malefic, and Venus
and Jupiter are
benefic. Yep. I kind of put Neptune as like the opposite, like since Pisces and Sag are originally under Jupiter, like Sag would be the positive side and Pisces would be the negative side. So like I always see Neptune with like it's going to bring misfortune no matter where it goes. That's why I asked.
If you had to force me to answer and give you an answer, I would lean toward benefic because it is said
it's transcending, like it brings misfortune so that you can transcend into a higher spiritual being.
Because it is said that Neptune is the higher octave of Venus.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true.
And Venus is a benefic. Yeah.
I actually want to point out something about the fear, because I know that it's in that book, and that's something that that's one of Neptune's characteristics. But Pisces is fearful, and Neptune can bring fear. So Neptune and Pisces can create a lot of fear, but Aries is not fearful. Aries is foolishly brave.
Yeah.
So I imagine that Neptune and Aries, like there could be some fear, but it's almost like the Aries. Yeah, it's almost like the Aries energy will like rise above it and like overcome it, I think.
Or could you say that would be leaning into your fear?
Yeah. In a brave way.
Facing fears?
Yeah, facing fears, definitely.
Yeah. So Scorpio rising, hey, on the daily basis, as you go through your day, how are you going to be facing your fears. Sagittarius rising. This is Neptune's going to be traveling through your 5th house of kids, hobbies, short love relationships, creativity, speculation, fun. It's the fun house. And so
I feel like this is a really creative spot for them.
yeah, because actually Neptune is connected to artists.
Mm-hmm.
And so either this could be a 14-year journey into connecting to your spiritual, to your creativity,
Your creativity and your spirituality. Maybe like creativity through your spirituality.
Yeah. What Sagittarius rising? What is your approach to love relationships? What is your belief and outlook on kids? Your approach. Hey, some depending on the age of Sagittarius rising, some of them could have taken the approach, I don't want kids. And so this Neptune trip through some Sagittarius energy could be dissolving that barrier, and next thing you know, by the end of this 14-year journey, you sitting up there with 2 kids and a dog and a white picket fence house. And you
sounds like someone you know.
Sagittarius rising, it's in the cards for you.
Yeah. So,
I guess it's the stars in this scenario, not the cards.
Yeah. So could it be facing fears?
Facing your fears about having kids.
Wait, now that just said that. It also could be about facing some of the fears that you had during your childhood.
Ooh, yeah. I like that.
And for some of you Sagittarius risings, it could be connecting with the child within to bring out your creativity. Y'all say I got that?
Yeah, I like that a lot.
All right. Let's keep it moving. Capricorn rising.
Another square here.
Yeah, this is it's gonna fall in your 4th house of home, family, roots, connections to family, emotional body. Anyone has anything to say?
You're the mother.
So is there barriers and boundaries to your connection to your mother?
Is the connection to the mother toxic, or to the family?
This also has to do with family karma.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be a hard time for Capricorn risings.
What went on in the family home? How do you approach your home and things that go on in your home? Are there, for some with Aries in the 4th, there could have been violence in the home or tension with Aries there. And this could be about, erasing or trying to face the tensions in the home and family karma.
Maybe it's like coming out of the fog from all that.
Ooh, I like that.
Or I would say also, like, I don't know if you mentioned this, but tensions and arguments, or physical altercations, physicality, maybe, in a way.
Violence.
How do you approach emotions? How do y'all deal with emotions inside the home?
Mm-hmm.
And connecting to
How,
family.
how do you deal with emotions inside your body? Like, do you, if you're angry, do you take a walk? Do you work out, exercise, like take up a sport? Like that's another big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Two more. Aquarius rising. This is falling in your third of communication, neighborhood, the lower mind, and siblings, connections to siblings, barriers and boundaries and fears with siblings, learning how to speak, communicate, leaning into. Do you speak with clear pictures? Do you paint? Do you speak
With clarity?
the clarity? Look here. I'm sitting up here talking about speaking with clarity, and I can't get the words out.
Words are hard.
Yeah, yeah. When I say the lower mind, what comes to mind?
The lower mind, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Gossip.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that, because you know what the third house is? Lower education. Hey, Aquarius rising. What went on in high school for you?
Well, if this is in the future, they're not gonna have a Department of Education.
Well, I'm just okay, but think about high school. Not everybody.
Yeah.
High school was not Disneyland for everybody. It could have been a lot of traumatic shit that went on at high school for Aquarius rising. Connections to groups and friends, and did people communicate with you, or was you the silent person in the lunchroom sitting by themselves?
Or maybe like dropping out of school, or just not having like a regular education like everyone else.
So could you see some Aquarius risings going back to school?
Going back to
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
yeah, either way.
Shit, I just had a text message from one that we know, Paul, saying that she was thinking of getting a PhD.
Are they being delusional about that?
I mean,
or do they have the gumption now that Neptune's going to be in Aries to go through with it?
Yeah,
maybe,
Yeah, they leaning into being a warrior, facing their fears.
Now that I think about it, Aries is not a finisher. They're a starter, but not a finisher.
That's true.
So it's like a good time to
true.
start a new belief system, but that doesn't necessarily like mean that you'll see it all the way through or stick to it in the end. But I mean, we could all use some change and I don't know, just get different perspectives on things like in any area of life.
All right. And last but not least, Pisces rising. This Aries is going to fall in your second house. Neptune's. And so Neptune just went through their first house. And so now what comes to mind is the self. And if you was disillusioned with self and you just had a 14-year journey of getting back on your footing, second house could be about having confidence in that self that you found in these last 14 years. As
valuing yourself more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing what your value, knowing what value you bring to the table.
Like going after the things that you want.
Well, also, some people, you may have triggered some people right there. Some people get triggered when you say, what do you bring to the table? But
I always have a hard time with the second house. So
so in all actuality, Pisces rising. In the next 14 years, what are you going to be bringing to the table?
I think that's going to be like figuring out how to get what you want, whether that's like a value, a belief, like something like physical and concrete, or something like more abstract.
I think it's gonna be. I think it could
Money
be
problem.
something.
Sorry.
I think it could. No, it's okay. I think it could be something like being the leader at the table.
What is your attitude toward money? Is it time to be the warrior to go out there and get that bag?
Or
And
to
how are you
or
gonna
take
do it?
yeah,
Huh?
or take more risks. Take risks with money. You know,
Yeah.
be more. I mean, in a way, Aries can hopefully not no bankruptcies.
Well,
I
okay,
know Aries that go into that.
but
Yeah.
also, all right. Also, for someone, we thinking young Pisces rising, for an older Pisces rising, who could have took that Aries route with money and finances, right? This could be them finding out that, oh shit, money doesn't buy happiness. And that older Pisces rising, this could be a 14-year journey of them becoming a minimalist.
I like that.
It's definitely something new to try.
Or one of them survival, living off the land.
Or maybe being too wild, because remember, Aries is impulsive,
Being too
so
wild and
sometimes,
free with your cash.
yeah, like impulse buying, like be careful at the mall, or and maybe you go out one day and you come back and you have a 7-acre farm, and you don't know what you got to do to take care of that 7-acre farm.
It's like blurring the lines between incoming and outgoing money.
Yeah, not knowing how to do your bookkeeping. Everybody can need a bookkeeper.
When the wave of money does come in, what are you gonna do to make sure that wave doesn't wash out the money?
Yeah.
I like that.
Huh. So yeah. With that being said, any final thoughts on Neptune come traveling through Aries, beginning its journey through Aries?
Just be aware, be conscious. Neptune likes to confuse and muddy the waters, so I don't know. Don't drink too much.
All right. Walter?
I will highlight because I don't think we got to this. I'll highlight this again. Neptune's ingress into Aries will be March 30th, 2025. That's what, next week? Then it will retrograde back into Pisces. So it's gonna go into Aries, and then a few weeks, months later, it'll start its retrograde. It'll go back into Pisces October 22nd, 2025, which is exactly like 7 months from now. Yeah. And then it will fully enter Aries again on January 26th, 2026.
So get ready.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting time. Personally, I think I foresee a lot of changes, like politically, globally, socially. I think our country is gonna undergo a lot of changes. For a while now, I've been concerned because, you think of Aries and you think of a fight. So I've been concerned that, like, what if there's a war? Like, what if there's violence? Like, what if you have to like flee, things like that. So I'm hoping that that's not the case. I'm hoping that it's still going to be, very transformative. But overall, it's gonna be different. It's just completely, new territory. It's masculine energy. It's impulsive energy. It is it's in a way, I mean, it's kind of like it is like a fool, like a kid. It's new energy because, you know, Aries does represent that sort of like newborn energy, you know. So there is going to be a lot of newness, you know. I wouldn't be surprised on like new technology and you know, like a variety of novelty. But my concern would be like how far does that go? How long will it last? You know, like what are the repercussions of that energy?
All right. Well, for me, should we fear? Well, dealing with this Neptune energy, it may have you feeling like you are hanging on a limb. and what do I mean by that? You bringing up some of the key words: chaos, fantasy, delusion, fear, self-indulgence, right? To really deal with Neptune energy, you have to be able to truly look yourself in the mirror and be accountable for that area, right? And be able to ask yourself, am I actually being fearful? Is this fear warranted? Am I living in the fantasy land? Is what I'm thinking and believing, is that actually, you know, reality-based thinking? But, you know, it's also devotion. Can you be devoted to something? Or is your devotion, Aries energy, unsustainable?
Yeah.
You're devoted for like a second and then you're not. Can you be devoted to a cause?
Yeah. And since you brought that up, if you do devote to a cause, are you prepared to sacrifice? Because what did you say about Santa Claus? Remember that saying?
The cosmic Santa Claus?
Yeah.
That there's a secret hidden in sacrifice.
But sacrifice is scary. I mean, you ever heard of the sacrificial lamb?
Yeah.
We all want to eat lamb chops, but nobody want to be the lamb.
Or no one wants to be the one to slaughter it too.
Good point.
So, we went through these rising signs as Neptune enters that area. Hey, I know it's gonna this for next journey, and it's gonna feel like you hanging on a limb. It's gonna feel like you don't have sure footing. And if I bring in what everything else that's going on with the reset, we got Venus, and we're about to have an Aries party going on.
I can't wait.
We're about to have the last eclipse in the Aries Libra series coming up. And so, and that's going to be, I think Neptune's going to be, have entered into Aries with this eclipse. I'll have to check with this last eclipse. Also, one of the things I talked about in one of my other videos is, you know, Neptune, Mercury and Venus is retrograde, and it's gonna hit Neptune at 29 degrees on as a retrograde, but on the way back direct, they're gonna hit Neptune at 0 degrees. And so is this a resetting of how we approach communication and thinking about dreams and to add Venus, we value when loved ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is this a reset of what we devoted to, what we connected to, what we are inspired by? We also talked about the generational planets shifting. Pluto shifted, Neptune's about to shift, Uranus is going to shift pretty soon. Uranus, the ruler of, Uranus is in Taurus, which is in bringing back Venus. So a resetting of dreams and wishes and how we think and approach the reality of those dreams and wishes. Could be this next 14 years.
I'm looking forward to it.
Well, it's hard to look behind you. If you look behind you, you're going to run into the wall.
Yeah, for sure.
So with that being said, D, good seeing you again.
Good seeing you too. Thanks for having me on, as always.
Walter, thank you for the Mercury retrograde reversal of roles.
I like it.
I want to thank everybody for joining us. You know how I end this. Know thyself. Balance your energy.
Peace.